Their thick natural hair flowed down to the waist. Yes, that's what women and girls in my village were known for. Am I really cursed as they say? My name is Omara. In Omweze, my hometown, a woman's beauty lies in her hair. The longer it is, the prouder she walks. It was considered a crown. The women of Omweze village are known everywhere for their thick, flowing hair. Except me. I was born bald. Not one strand of hair has ever grown on my head. When I walk through the market, the girls laugh, giggle, and whisper. They'll say, "See her shiny head. Maybe the gods forgot to finish her." Many times I've overheard people make fun of me and call me the white-haired girl. While going to the stream, the girls, they would laugh and point at me. I smile, but inside, it hurts. It hurts really badly. Well, the words of my sweet mother has always been the source of my confidence. My mother would always say, "My daughter, beauty is not what people see. It's what you carry inside." Those words made me confident. I carried my bare head wherever I go without covering it with a scarf or cap. I was confident of the beauty I radiate inside, no matter how much the villagers made fun of me. Then came a festival we observe once each year. It was known as the Festival of the Crowns, a time when young maidens in the village gathered to showcase their long, shiny, and beautiful hairs. Villagers from neighboring villages usually come to observe this festival. It's true I have always carried myself with confidence, but during this festive time of the year, it always seems as if my confidence has evaporated away. I would always stay far away, watching as they dance and shine under the sun. While they cheer, I stay quiet, wondering if anyone would ever see beyond my appearance, my bowed head. One early morning, I hurried to the stream to fetch water for chores. At the stream, I overheard a conversation between two of the most popular girls in my village, and that conversation led to a very big and unbelievable change in my life, something I never thought could happen. One of the girls said the Festival of Crowns would be grand this year. The king invited guests from Enugu City to come watch and film the festival. The girls talked about the people from the city invited by the king. They would come to watch and film our festival this year. I froze. Film? I thought to myself, that means the world would see them, see Umweze, see everything. But would the world also see me? As I walked slowly back home with my pot of water balanced on my head, different thoughts kept filling my mind, and then I made the decision. I'll not watch the festival from a distance this year. I will attend just like every other girl in the village. The festival was to be held in the next 2 weeks, but I began preparing for it that night, not with hair, but with something inside of me. While other girls oiled their hair and massaged their scalps in preparation for the festival, I sat by the riverside every evening, preparing for the big day too. But since I have no hair on my head, I prepared with something else. Before my grandmother passed away, she was known as the best potter in Mwezi and beyond. And that gift, that magic, was what she passed down to me. My mother and I have never spent money buying pots for chores at home. I made and designed them all, even the ones I carried to fetch water from the stream. Aside from my mother, no one in my hometown ever knew about this gift in me. How would they? They never wanted to come close to me anyway. Days rolled by, and finally, it was a day to the festival. So I went to an isolated part of the stream to create something special. Something to display the next day. Displaying clay pots at a festival meant for hair? Crazy, right? But I didn't care anymore. I was determined to show the world what I could do. Then suddenly, a deep voice came from behind me. "What are you doing?" I froze. My heartbeat skipped. No one was supposed to find me here. I turned around immediately, and my eyes met those of a stranger. He was tall, dark, and dressed like the men from the city. A flashy camera hung in his hand. "Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you," he said. "It's fine," I replied, my voice trembling slightly. "Who are you?" I asked the stranger.
"My name is Kelvin," he said, with a warm smile, adjusting the silver camera that hung from his neck. "I'm a journalist from the city, one of the guests invited by the king to watch and film the festival. I decided to arrive earlier than the others so I could explore this beautiful village and maybe find inspiration for my next newspaper story." His eyes moved slowly across the rows of clay pots before him. "But I think I've already found the best story so far," he said, his voice soft but sure. "These are very beautiful." Beautiful. The word echoed in my chest like a whisper from the gods. Aside from my mother, no one had ever spoken about my work with such wonder. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. I felt the corners of my lips rise in a shy, unbelieving smile. "Thanks," I managed to say, barely above a whisper. He lifted his camera again, the silver lens glinting in the sunlight as he captured each of my pots, each piece of my soul. And just like that, he was gone, leaving only the faint scent of city cologne and the echo of his words behind. That night, sleep refused to come. I lay on my mat staring at the ceiling as the crickets sang outside. Kelvin's voice replayed over and over in my mind, his tone, his eyes, his smile. Could it be true? Did he really see my art? Did he really see me? No one had ever looked past my bald head before. No one had seen beyond what made me different. Yet he didn't flinch. He didn't stare. He just looked. A quiet laugh escaped my lips in the darkness. I chuckled softly to myself. Maybe he's different. But as dawn crept into the sky and the morning sun washing the village in pale gold, my laughter faded into a firm resolve. If the world was coming to Umweze to see beauty, then I would show them courage. The drums began, the festival crowd roared, and there I stood, bald, barefoot, and uninvited, staring at the sea of colorful wrappers and proud faces before me. The Festival of Crowns had begun. Girls walked gracefully with long, shiny hair swinging proudly behind them, their braids glittering with beads and oils, catching the sun like gold threads. Even the air smelled of pride. Palm wine, roasted corn, burning firewood, and expectations. I stood quietly at the far end of the square, my decorated clay pots arranged carefully beside me. My bald head reflected the sunlight like a polished mirror, drawing whispers. Ngozi, the most admired maiden with waist-length braids, passed by. She looked at me and smirked. "Are you sure you belong here, Omara?" She mocked loudly. "This festival is for real women." The girls around her burst into laughter. My hands trembled. Shame washed over me like cold water. But I didn't move. I had made up my mind. If hair was their glory, then talent would be mine. Soon, invited guests from the city arrived, dressed grandly, moving through the crowd like royalty. The drums grew louder and the dancing began. Girls spun and swayed, each trying to outshine the others, hair flowing like rivers behind them. The king, villagers, and city guests watched with wide eyes and satisfied smiles. And there I stood, quietly watching, until the strange feeling of being watched prickled my skin. I turned and met his eyes. "Kelvin." My heart skipped. He smiled softly, then leaned toward the king and whispered something. The king's eyes shifted to me and he nodded slowly. Kelvin stood, parting the crowd as he walked toward me. He smiled softly, then leaned toward the king and whispered something. The king's eyes shifted to me and he nodded slowly. Kelvin stood, parting the crowd as he walked toward me. My breath froze. He stopped at my clay pots, studied them silently, then lifted them gently and returned to his seat. The dance ended. The villagers cheered. 3 girls were chosen as the best dancers and each received my pots. They giggled excitedly, whispering, "These must be from the city. Look at the designs." None of them knew the truth. Kelvin raised his hand for silence. "These pots," he announced, "were made by someone among you, not from the city." Gasps and confusion spread. Then Kelvin walked back toward me, took my hand, and led me to the center of the square. The crowd parted, eyes wide in disbelief. A single clap echoed behind me. Then another, and another. It was the king. Soon the city guests joined, then the villagers. Thunderous applause swallowed the square. Kelvin lifted my hand into the air. Tears spilled down my cheeks. What began as a festival meant to glorify hair became a celebration of talent. My talent. A city guest stepped forward and said, "Such skills should not be hidden in a village. Would you like to come with us to the city and display your work at our museum?" My mouth fell open. The city? Me? The crowd held its breath. A week later, Kelvin and his team came to fetch me. My mother cried tears of joy. The villagers showered me with gifts and praise. Even Ngozi returned with an apology. I had risen from mockery to respect. In the city, I worked with an African heritage museum, crafting clay pots with ancient patterns that told forgotten stories. People visited from far and wide, paid generously, and celebrated my work. My fame grew, not because of my hair, but because of the fire within. Yes, my head remained bald, but greatness does not grow from hair follicles. Few months later, I brought my sweet mother from the village to live in my home. So over to you. Are you short and people mock you for it? Are you bald like me? Do you have a scar, disability, or feature the world calls different? It is not your appearance that defines you. It is who you are inside. Your appearance can never stop your greatness unless you let it. So tell me, in the comments, what do you think about my story?